What's up everyone? Welcome back to another video and another recipe. You know, a lot of times people ask me where I get inspired. How do I come up with many recipes? I mean, I've been doing this for so long. I have hundreds, no, thousands of different recipes and even more variation of all those. So if you do the math, it's like, you know, hundreds of thousands of recipes. Inspiration, where does it come from? For today, pretzel hot dog buns. Let's take those pretzel buns and try and fit it with all things pretzel adjacent, which is essentially pork sausage or brats, cheese, beer, onions, a cheese stuffed pretzel brat with beer cheese sauce on top and fried onions. Let's get on with the recipe.
I'm starting with a top-down initiative for this one. That's why the first thing I'm doing is making the condiments that go on top by making the fried onions. Now for that, I'm combining 2 cups of buttermilk with 2 tablespoons of garlic powder and some salt and pepper. Keeping these onions thicker than normal, I'm slicing them into strips. At this point, it's all about the soak. So I submerge the onions in the buttermilk mixture and keep them in there for a while before I fry them. That's the thing about fried onions. The more you soak them in the buttermilk, the more flavorful they'll become and the sweeter the onions will taste. For the brats or sausages, I'm DIYing them by stuffing each one with some cheese. Now here's the deal, they obviously sell cheese stuffed brats or sausages already done, but for me, and for this recipe, I wanted the cheese to spill out the link after cooking it and then cutting it. So with that said, I made the hole and physically stuffed each one with a cheese stick. Now before cooking them, I'm gonna set them aside in the fridge to sort of firm up, and now it's time to make the beer cheese. For the beer cheese sauce, I'm using 2 types of cheese, and at this point, my rule of 3 is in full effect. That is, if one recipe has more than 3 types of any type of ingredient, in this case cheese, it's an instant banger. Now my cheeses of choice here are smoked gouda and some sharp cheddar. For the roux, which is what thickens these sauces, it's a standard issued salted butter and all-purpose flour roux. And once that all combines and the flour smell is no longer lingering, it's time to add the beer of your choice. Dark beer is better in my opinion. Once the liquid hits the roux, I have to act fast, and that's why I mix it all together until it gets even thicker. And then it's time to add the cheese, but before I do that, I want to add some more flavor. So to the pot goes some dijon and some yellow mustard with some garlic powder, salt and pepper. To cook the brats, sausages, or links, I have to first make sure that the cheese stays in. So for that, I have to seal the end that I cut open at the beginning to fit in the cheese. And to do that, all I'm doing is putting this pan on medium-high heat and searing the hole shut. Yes, that's all it takes. It's almost impossible for some of this cheese leakage to happen, so when it does, just try to embrace it. Now while the link's finished in the oven, it's back to the onions, and for that, it's a typical wet hand, dry hand rule of frying. So as you can see, I'm trying to let as much of the buttermilk drip off as possible before coating it in the all-purpose flour mixture. And another thing I didn't show you was seasoning the flour. It's so important to do that. So to this all-purpose flour, I hit it with some salt, pepper, and some garlic powder. And once the onions are fully coated, into a pot of oil that is at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. They get cooked for roughly 3 to 5 minutes, or just until they become golden brown and crispy. Now, as soon as they come out of the fryer or the oil, hit them with salt and set them aside until it's time to build. And you can dress these at your discretion, but for me, pretzel bun, brat, beer cheese, fried onions, a little bit of parsley.
Holy heck. This thing right here looks incredible. It smells incredible. The flavor of beer, it stays behind. It is remaining in this luxurious cheese sauce, which by the way, has 2 different cheeses. I used some sharp cheddar, sorry about those slices, and some smoked gouda. So not only does this beer cheese have a beer flavor, it also has a smoky flavor via the smoked gouda. Now, you could probably get cheddar brats, or you can just poke a hole in some sausages and shove it with cheese, which is what I did. Then on top of the entire thing, some fried onions. This is kind of like a French's fried onions copycat. So if you ever wanted to make a fried onion that's not necessarily an onion ring, this is the one. And then just for color contrast, a little bit of chopped parsley on top. And I've been talking with this in my hand for far too long. Let's go in for a bite. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey through Oktoberfest, if you will. If there's something else you want to see me make, leave a comment down below. Hit that sub button if you're not already subbed, and if you are subbed, consider turning on notifications. See you guys on the next one. Bye.